Take heed to yourselves, lest you live in those sins which you preach against in others, unless you be guilty of that which you daily condemn. Will you make it your work to magnify God, and when you have done dishonor him as much as others? Will you proclaim Christ's governing power, and yet contemn it, and rebel yourselves? Will you preach his laws and willfully break them? If sin be evil, why do you live in it? If it be not, why do you dissuade men from it? If it be dangerous, how dare you venture on it? If it be not, why do you tell men so? If God's threatenings be true, why do you not fear them? If they be false, why do you needlessly trouble men with them and put them into such frights without a cause? Do you know the judgment of God that they who commit such things are worthy of death? And yet, will you do them? Thou that teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery, or be drunk, or covetous, art thou such thyself? Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law dishonourest thou God? What? Shall the same tongue speak evil that speaketh against evil? Shall those lips censure and slander, and backbite your neighbor, that cry down these and the like things in others? Take heed to yourselves, lest you cry down sin, and yet you do not overcome it, lest while you seek to bring it down in others, you bow to it and become its slaves yourselves. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought into bondage. To whom you yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants you are to whom you obey, whether of sin unto death, or of obedience unto righteousness. O brethren, it is easier to chide at sin than to overcome it. Lastly, take heed to yourselves that you want not the qualifications necessary for your work. He must not be himself a babe in knowledge that will teach men all those mysterious things, which must be known in order to salvation. Oh, what qualifications are necessary for a man who has such a charge upon him as we have! How many difficulties in divinity to be solved, and these too about the fundamental principles of religion! How many obscure texts of Scripture to be expounded! How many duties to be performed, wherein ourselves and others may miscarry, if in the manner and end we be not well informed! How many sins to be avoided, without which understanding and foresight cannot be done! What a number of sly and subtle temptations must we open to our people's eyes, that they may escape them! How many weighty and yet intricate cases of conscience have we almost daily to resolve? And can so much work, and such work as this, be done by raw, unqualified men? Oh, what strongholds have we to batter, and how many of them? What subtle and obstinate resistance must we expect from every heart we deal with? Prejudice has so blocked up our way that we can scarcely procure a patient hearing. We cannot make a breach in their groundless hopes and carnal peace, but they have 20 shifts and seeming reasons to make it up again, and 20 enemies that are seeming friends are ready to help them. We dispute not with them upon equal terms. We have children to reason with that cannot understand us. We have distracted men to argue with that will ball us down with raging nonsense. We have willful, unreasonable people to deal with who, when they are silenced, are never the more convinced, and who, when they can give you no reason, will give you their resolution, like the man that Salvian had to deal with, who, being resolved to devour a man's poor substance, and being entreated by him to forbear, replied, he could not grant his request, for he had made a vow to take it. So that the preacher, by reason of this most religious evil deed, was fain to depart. We dispute the case against men's wills and passions as much as against their understandings, and these have neither reason nor ears. Their best arguments are, I will not believe you, nor all the preachers in the world in such things. I will not change my mind or life. I will not leave my sins. I will never be so precise, come of it what will. We have not one but multitudes of raging passions and contradicting enemies to dispute against at once, whenever we go about the conversion of a sinner, as if a man were to dispute an affair or a tumult, or in the midst of a crowd of violent scolds. What equal dealing and what success could here be expected? Yet, Such is our work, and it is a work that must be done. O brethren, what men should we be in skill, resolution, and unwearied diligence, who have all this to do? Did Paul cry out, Who is sufficient for these things? And shall we be proud or careless or lazy, as if we were sufficient? As Peter saith to every Christian, in consideration of a great approaching change, what manner of persons ought we to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So may I say to every minister, seeing all these things lie upon our hands, what manner of persons ought we to be in all holy endeavors and resolutions for our work? This is not a burden for the shoulders of a child. What skill does every part of our work require, and of how much moment is every part? To preach a sermon, I think, is not the hardest part, and yet what skill is necessary to make the truth plain, to convince the hearers, to let irresistible light into their consciences and to keep it there, and to drive all home, to screw the truth into their minds and work Christ into their affections, to meet every objection and clearly to resolve it, to drive sinners to a stand and make them see that there is no hope, but that they must unavoidably either be converted or condemned, and to do all this as regards language and manner, as beseems our work, and yet as is most suitable to the capacities of our hearers. This and a great deal more that should be done in every sermon must surely require a great deal of holy skill. So great a God, whose message we deliver, should be honored by our delivery of it. It is a lamentable case that in a message from the God of heaven, of everlasting moment to the souls of men, we should behave ourselves so weakly, so unhandsomely, so imprudently, or so slightly, that the whole business should miscarry in our hands, and God should be dishonored and his work disgraced, and sinners rather hardened than converted, and all this through our weakness or neglect. How often have carnal hearers gone home, jeering at the palpable and dishonorable failings of the preacher? How many sleep under us because our hearts and tongues are sleepy, and we bring not with us so much skill and zeal as to awake them? Moreover, what skill is necessary to defend the truth against gainsayers, and to deal with disputing cavillers according to their several modes and case? And if we fail through weakness, how will they exult over us? Yet that is the smallest matter, but who knows how many weak ones may thereby be perverted to their own undoing and to the trouble of the church? What skill is necessary to deal in private with one poor ignorant soul for his conversion? O brethren, do you not shrink and tremble under the sins of all this work? Will a common measure of holy skill and ability, of prudence and other qualifications serve for such a task as this? I know necessity may cause the church to tolerate the weak, but woe to us if we tolerate and indulge our own weakness. Do not reason and conscience tell you that if you dare venture on so high a work as this, you should spare no pains to be qualified for the performance of it? It is not now and then an idle snatch or taste of studies that will serve to make an able and sound divine. I know that laziness has learned to allege the vanity of all of our studies, and how entirely the Spirit must qualify us for and assist us in our work, as if God commanded us the use of means and then warranted us to neglect them, as if it were his way to cause us to thrive in a course of idleness, and to bring us to knowledge by dreams when we are asleep, or to take us up into heaven and show us his counsels while we think of no such manner, but are idling away our time on earth. Oh, that men should dare by their laziness to quench the Spirit, and then pretend the Spirit for the doing of it. O outrageous, shameful, and unnatural deed! God has required us that we be not slothful in business, but fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Such we must provoke our hearts to be, and such must be ourselves. O therefore, brethren, lose no time, study and pray and confer and practice. For in these 4 ways your abilities must be increased. Take heed to yourselves, lest you are weak through your own negligence, and lest you mar the work of God by your weakness.